New York's housing market just collapsed, yet prices are still sky high, with the median sale above $800,000 and Manhattan pushing $1.1 million. Underneath those numbers, sales have crashed to near record lows, buyers have vanished, and renters face record-breaking burdens. If prices are not crashing, what actually broke, and why does it threaten the city's future? Citywide, the median sale price for a home in New York sits just under $800,000, one of the highest figures in the country. In Manhattan, that number climbs past $1.1 million, while Brooklyn hovers above $900,000. These headline prices suggest a market that is still out of reach for most, with only a narrow slice of buyers able to participate. The numbers look strong on the surface, but they mask a dramatic thinning of the market beneath. Fewer households can actually afford to buy, and the pool of active buyers has shrunk to those with the highest incomes or significant cash on hand. The city's price tags remain staggering, but the question is no longer how high they will go, it is who, if anyone, can still pay them. Mortgage originations in New York City have dropped to their lowest point since 2006. For most buyers, the math simply does not work. Higher mortgage rates have slashed purchasing power, and stricter lending standards now demand larger down payments and higher incomes. This leaves the majority of potential buyers sidelined, unable to enter the market at all. Meanwhile, a vast number of current homeowners, estimates range from 75,000 to 120,000 units, are effectively locked in, holding mortgages with rates far below what is available today. These owners want to move but cannot afford to trade up or even down without facing a financial penalty. The result is a frozen pipeline. Homes that would typically cycle onto the market remain off limits, creating a shadow inventory that never hits the listing pages. With so few new listings, pressure builds in the rental market, setting the stage for even greater strain on tenants. Manhattan rents now hover between $4,900 and $5,200 a month, while the citywide median asking rent sits above $3,500, among the highest in the nation. For many New Yorkers, more than half of their income goes straight to rent. Over 432,000 households earning less than $50,000 are classified as severely rent burdened, a number that keeps climbing. The vacancy rate across the city is stuck near 1%, far below what is considered healthy. For apartments renting below $1,100, the vacancy rate drops to just 0.4%, making affordable options nearly impossible to find. In neighborhoods like Inwood and Washington Heights, families cut back on groceries and skip doctor visits just to stay housed. The rental market is not just tight, it is suffocating, leaving tenants with nowhere to turn as pressure keeps building. In Queens and Brooklyn, courthouse dockets tell a different story than the headlines. Foreclosure filings have jumped by more than 14% year over year, with hundreds of new cases added each month. One Southeast Queens homeowner kept every notice in a shoebox, a mortgage from 2020 at a low teaser rate, a reset letter in August 2024 pushing the payment from $2,400 to $3,120, a missed payment in September, a demand letter in November, and a court summons by February. Legal aid diaries capture the daily strain. Spouses taking extra shifts, bills piling up, children overhearing whispered arguments about money. Adjustable rate mortgages, common during the pandemic's buying frenzy, are now resetting across the city, forcing families to make impossible choices. Each document, each court date is another reminder that beneath the city's high prices, the foundation for thousands of households is quietly eroding. In 2024, New York City completed over 31,000 new housing units, more than in any single year since the 1960s. At first glance, this historic surge might suggest relief is on the way, but the numbers tell a different story. The majority of these new apartments fall into the luxury or high rent category, with only a small fraction reserved for low-income households. Department of Buildings records confirm that most construction concentrated in Brooklyn and Long Island City, areas already flush with upscale development. For the average renter or would-be buyer, the flood of new supply remains out of reach, deepening the divide between what is being built and what is actually needed. The expiration of the 421A tax abatement in 2022 left New York's multifamily pipeline in limbo. Developers paused projects across Brooklyn and Queens, citing the loss of a critical incentive that once made large-scale rental construction possible. The city's answer, the 485X program, promised new tax breaks for projects that included a set share of affordable units, but early results have been underwhelming. Developers point to rising labor costs, strict wage rules, and complex compliance as reasons for slow uptake. Meanwhile, the city has turned to office to apartment conversions to add supply. At 25 Water Street, a former office tower is being transformed into more than 1,300 apartments, with a portion set aside as affordable. Yet even this flagship conversion required extra subsidies to pencil out, and most candidates face cost barriers that few can clear. Incentives alone have not closed the gap. Today, a stable home in New York grows further out of reach for most. As scarcity deepens, the city's future hangs on who can still afford to call it home.